And it's just an experience of the things we used to do when I was serving in that capacity. You have to balance among many things, because what happens in resource allocation is that you only need to be optimal. Where can you put money that then will yield most of the outcome? And at some point in the chase for resources and allocations, there was the issue of the JSS teachers, whom you know very well. By then they were called moguls. And I was feeling very compelled then as the chairman of budget that whatever else we are doing, and that was around last time when the issue about resources was very pronounced out of the issues that happened in July. But out of the things we did, among the few that I'm very, very proud of, is the confirmation of the JSS teachers to permanent and pensionable terms. It gives me a lot of satisfaction, and especially given that I took it as my burden to make sure that that was done. But I'm not claiming to have done it by myself. It is teamwork among the committee members, teamwork among the other consultations that you need to do as the chairman of budget, which I am very truly grateful for. I want to stop there and pick some questions. I only request, I am a Kenyan, as I said when I was starting. I know, because I don't want to pretend that you as a journalist, there is what you would really want me to say today. But I also feel it is important that the things we have said are equally important for the country, and especially the transition, given the position I held. I used to invite you, you used to cover. I felt it is beholden upon me to also call you when it is time to pack. So if you might, or if I can indulge you, because I'm still here and you are still here, anything else, there is so much time to talk about it. So thank you very much. I open the floor.
That spirit, last week, Ruby from Nation. Last week,
you are?
Ruby from Nation.
Okay.
Last week we saw from Parliament they were saying that you used to be a position as chair to disproportionately allocate much resources to the constituents of Kigali. What could be your response regarding those accusations by fellow MPs?
Okay. Maybe we can take another one, then I answer, then we take others.
My name is Omolo from West TV. Mine was similar to that, but now that my colleague has asked, maybe as a politician, why do you think you are replaced from that position?
Okay. Yes, my brother. You are? Moses from Star. Oh, Moses. Yes, I know you.
You know the country is expectant. So when I say that, I know what I mean.
Yes.
Kindly just give us a hint on this expectation.
Okay. We can take one lady. I'll come to you, then we answer. I'm here. Yes, my sister.
Nimezungumzia mafanikio ambayo umefanya kama mwenyekiti, labda ni yapi ambayo unaweza kusema kama kutekeleza na pia kuna ile swala la public participation bado ni unasumu kabisa, halijaweza kushughulikiwa kikamilifu, labda hata wakati unapoondoka ni kitu ambacho unaweza kusema.
Let me answer this so that I don't forget, and then we can answer the others. Dubi from Nation, you've asked about the comments that were made in Parliament last week. I would just implore upon everyone, because I'm not the first person to hold this position, respectively so. You can do an analysis for the past many years that this position has existed, and then try to see and compare for yourself, because many times it's not good to talk about yourself because you are likely to be subjective. To be objective, the data is out there, just check. However, on the same, every politician have their own brand of politics. Myself, I do not answer evil with evil. Neither do I answer insults with insults. Basically, we are all different. And I don't want to purport to know better what I am not. And therefore, I am okay as a leader. You cannot continue being provoked and then you dance to the tune. And I also want to say that anger and hatred is too heavy a burden for any leader to carry. And you only carry anger and those kind of other negative emotions to the advantage of the distractors. So it is important then, in politics you draw your line, you know this is the kind of politics I want to play, draw that line, whatever it is, follow through. Secondly, in terms of Wamalwa West TV, on why, you asked me a very difficult question, on why I was repressed. I also don't know. And I am saying it in good faith. I didn't come here to accuse anyone today, or I only came to set the record straight. No one in the leadership of our coalition, from whichever position, has ever called me in regards to the position, in regards to what I need to do better, in regards to what I need to change, in regards to things that needed to be done in a different manner. It's very good for me to put it into record because, as I said, I was holding this position knowing that I was serving Kenyans, so I am also answerable. And in sincerity say, there is no one who has ever called me, decision makers of our coalition, to say anything around this. I read in newspapers about myself the same way you do. And in terms of this position, that's what I mean. And that's the truth. Moses of Star. You know, Moses is a political journalist. I know him. So he's asking me that I need to say something around politics. Moses, I have your number and you have mine. And I want to assure you that when I need to talk politics, I'll call you. And I'm saying it respectfully. I only think that even this is also very important. And situko tu hapa Kenya. I mean, I'm not going anywhere and Moses is still around. I know your job is not threatened in any way, so you are still in Star. So I'll be glad to also talk about that at the fullness of time. The other thing about Miriam, Millicent KBC. There are many things she asked about. Yes, I talked about one thing we did. What about the many others that are challenges that remains to be done? Of course, there are many. There are many things that we are work in progress for us as a country. And referencing to the position I was serving, the issue of public debt is a major challenge. The issue of stored projects is a major challenge. So there are many things that are work in progress. There are other very important things like confirmation of other people who work for government, like the UHC staff. We had allocated some money before, but there is still some work to be done in terms of more allocation. And so that even those brothers and sisters can also have a chance to be compensated for the service they offer our country. And the other one, you've talked about public participation. I agree. Kenya is a robust country in terms of hearing your voice, but there is also work to be done in terms of incorporating all citizens, and especially in allocation of resources. There are things that I don't know whether there is a need to it. One of those things is public participation, because it's a continuous process which has to keep on improving, which has to keep on done better, because there is no perfection to it, but we can always polish it and do better about it. We can take another round. Let's go.
Let me start. You continued serving as the chair for budget. My name is Stephen Leto, Citizen TV. If you continued serving as the budget chair, will you allocate in the 2025-2026 financial year 72 billion shillings for Chapati?
Let me take a few more. Yes, my brother. That cannot be answered alone.
My name is Daniel Sire from Daily Trends. What do you regret as a national leader in terms of what you were doing, the course that you were holding, and because you've spoken about what you achieved, what did you not achieve that you wanted to achieve?
Let me answer those two, because I want to be precise. Leto, I don't know where you got that math from, and I don't know whether you're asking about Kiharu, because we do that in our day schools. We offer that in our day schools once a month. Is it a Kiharu question or a national question? Since I am not chair now, let me not hypothesize on what I would do if I was one now. But mulisikia hiyo sorry ya Leto? That's Leto, you want to box me in a corner. I'll answer you that in camera. Because I also don't want to deflect from this. It's a good question, but I also don't want to wander so far. I'll give you that answer, Leto. And I'll also give you a calculator so that you do the right calculations. Daniel from Daily Trades, any regrets? What you could have done better? As I said when I was answering Millicent, budget making as it is in management of leadership is always work in progress. There is no perfection to it. That's why even the most developed countries keep on having new leaders. Otherwise, they could have finished the work and say, sasa tumemaliza, there are no more leaders to be needed. So there is always it's always work in progress to reach where we are headed. He also asked about the regrets. What I believe myself is that I am the sum total of all my experiences, bad and good. And if I want to remove any bad experience from my CV, that is, as a human being, then I am deserting to be who I am. Therefore, very rarely will I have regrets. What I'll have are lessons to do things better. Not about only doing, to treat people better. And if at some point you feel that you've been wronged, I always believe it's an opportunity for you to know how to treat people better when you are at a vantage point. And therefore, no much regret. Yes, my brother.
My name is Mike. Now, kwa vile na masuala kadhaa umezungumzia pale kuhusiana na uhusiano wako na wakazi wako wa Kiharu, ulichaguliwa moja kwa moja kwa sababu haukuwa na vibango vile kutoka Kiharu. Vile vile unasema kwamba hakuna yeyote aliyekupigia simu kuhusiana na kazi yako na uhusiano wako wa kikazi na labda uhusiano wako na Rais William Ruto umekuwa vipi hivi karibuni, na labda kabla ya kubanduliwa ofisini kwa aliyekuwa naibu yako na Rais William Ruto ni upi hadi kufikia sasa? Je, amesema na wewe ndio wote ule? Umesema na aliyekuwa naibu rais wote kule? Uhusiano wako vile vile na aliyekuwa naibu rais ni upi hadi kufikia sasa?
Mheshimiwa, swali langu ni jina langu ni Ronnie Reagan kutoka idhaa ya Moreni.
Your name is?
Ronnie Reagan.
Ronnie. Okay.
Swali langu kwako ni kuhusiana na utendakazi na uchambuzi kazi wako katika eneo bunge la Kiharu. Binafsi tulitembea huko na tukafanya taarifa kuhusiana na kuimarisha elimu na kuimarisha kuipatia makala ya elimu bora na si bora elimu. Hivi sasa umeng'atuliwa na kuondolewa katika wadhifa ambao umekuwa unashikilia, na hizi tetesi ambazo zimekuwa zikisemekana na viongozi kwamba mgao wako ulielekezwa katika eneo lako. Kwa sasa hivi umeondolewa, je, ujenzi wa shule utaendelea, madarasa yataendelea, kabla zitaendelea na wanafunzi wataendelea kula, au sasa bajeti vile vile itakuwa imefinywa, una uwezo zaidi?
Okay. The reason you see me answering chache so that I don't also get lost. Let me answer the two very specifically. Mike, you asked about the relationship with our leaders. The position I held is a consultative position in terms of before a decision is made, there has to be a lot of consultations. But as I said before, because I also don't want to discuss personalities today, the position or the answer I gave before, I think it answers many things. That I have not had any conversation directly or on phone with any leader of our coalition in regards to the position I used to hold. And I think if you look at it, it answers many things also, which I also don't want to go into. In terms of the relationship with other leaders, I respect everyone. I mean, I'm one of those people who believe there's no person who becomes a leader by just being fetched from wherever. There is always a process they go through. Because I am one, I know. And therefore, in terms of you've asked the relationship between the president and the former deputy president, the position I hold is that I respect every leader. And I could have things I need to talk about. I could have reservations on decisions made. But I don't think it has been within my role to talk about those things, especially in public. The other thing in that question is that maybe for clarity's sake, the last discussion I had with the president of the country, the last political discussion, either a chat or a discussion as it were, was before October of last year. And I would not want, and you permit me to do that, not to discuss any further about any leader, because as you are all aware, I stopped serving in my position. It's barely a week. I also need to understand many things before I talk, because I believe as a leader, I lead people. There are people who look up to us as leaders. And therefore, even when you see that I am not answering some questions, it's not because I can't answer them. I believe you have covered me previously, and you know for sure that, respectively, in this world I only fear God. So whatever I need to say, I have no reservation of saying. But also, we are given wisdom to say when to say, how to say it. And I believe we are here in Kenya. We'll keep interacting. If there is more to be said, if there is more to be clarified, we are around. Ronnie, he has been